So, little survey here. Who here has either tried or had a glass of rosé? So, okay, so almost everyone. That's good. I was going to ask who wouldn't be caught dead ordering it, but I'm here to talk today a little bit about rosé. I feel it's more popular than the very opposite to Jamil's speech. I should have gone first. So rosés, I feel like more popular than it's ever been today. You can go to, say, Trader Joe's or Ralph's, and they have a whole section carved out for just rosé. And it's produced here in the States, obviously from Europe, and I think even down south, like in South America and Australia. But I feel like there's still this kind of stigma attached to it, there's an aversion to it, because it's sometimes misunderstood or not appreciated. There's certain reasons that people don't have an aversion to it, while even though, despite the fact that it's really overhyped. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those misconceptions and then why they're perhaps a little undeserving, and I think you guys should really give it a chance, which obviously a lot of you have, but I think you should continue to give it a chance. One of the big reasons I think a lot of people have an issue with rosé is just the name and the color. It's kind of pink or light red, and it's rosé. Gentlemen in particular sometimes might have trouble ordering a glass of rosé because they don't want to be seen sitting there drinking a glass of something pink. I think a lot of times too, there's an aversion because back in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, one of the big things was white Zinfandel. It was like a blush wine is one of the things it was called. This was a very sweet wine. You can still see boxes of Franzia in some stores of white Zinfandel. And so I think a lot of people tend to think of, when they think of rosé, they think it's going to be overly sweet, or like it's some sort of dessert wine. Oddly, I think some of the popularity of rosé has kind of lent itself to people not wanting to do it, as it's almost too popular. It's a drink that, whenever you hear in certain restaurants, you might, when someone asks, oh, would you like to order a glass of rosé? And of course someone responds, rosé all day. Right? It's the preferred drink of basic bitches and guys who want to talk about drinking rosé. And it is a thing, sadly. Yeah. For some of you might know the comedian, the fat Jewish who has his own wine, rosé wine called White Girl Rosé. And again, it's just this overhyped and popular, like that I feel like causes a lot of people to go, no, not but it's undeserving, because rosé is really, it's a great wine. So, and it's been, even though it's been more popular here, it's been the drink of choice, especially in the summer months, in the Mediterranean regions, especially like in southern France, where people will, during the summer, sit out on their balcony over a tranquil Mediterranean sea and have a nice glass of rosé. Provence, down there in southern France, is one of the main growing regions where it's produced. If you ever go to pick up a bottle somewhere, something like that, it's always a safe bet if you order something that's been made down in Côte de Provence. So, how is rosé made? Rosé is made by leaving the skins of the grapes in the wine for just a little bit and then removing them. Typically when you make a red wine, the skins and the juice all ferment together. It gets what gives red wine its deep color, its kind of complexities, its tannins. But for rosé, you take those skins out only after a few days. You don't really let the wine ferment in. So it gets that kind of rosé or pinkish or a little bit redder or a little bit lighter, depending on how long they let it sit. But you still get some of the tannins and complexities from those skins. And that's why rosé is such a great wine, especially with all kinds of different food pairings, because you get the kind of floral and refreshing notes that you would get in a white wine, because rosé is also typically served chilled. But you still get some of those, like I said, tannins, you get some of the complexity, some of the body that you would get with a red. And so you could really is kind of you get the best of both worlds. And I think a lot of people don't think of it can be really great for pairing, especially if you have a wide variety of foods. If you have something that's a little bit more lighter and maybe a little bit on the heavier side, a rosé can work with both of those. I went to the tasting kitchen down there in Aberkenny for the first time not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, and I actually ordered a glass of rosé because you're given several different dishes, and everything starting from like lighter vegetable dishes and then ending with some more heavier meats. But the rosé is able to kind of navigate both sides of those. You can even have rosé with certain lighter types of barbecue because again you have those tannins and that body in there from the red grapes. That's going to help really bring out those flavors. And then at the same time you have a nice cool wine because you don't really want to sit outside at a barbecue drinking like a heavy Syrah or something like that. So rosé I think is something that's often misunderstood. I think people don't appreciate how complex and how varied it can be, or how versatile it can be, how you can have it with a variety of foods. So I would encourage you, fellow Toastmasters, to next time you're at the store and looking for a bottle of wine, especially to bring next to something like a barbecue or a party during the summer, or next time you're at the restaurant wondering what I should have that's going to go with everything, especially if you're going to start with a salad and may finish up with like some ribs even, I would encourage you to don't worry about the haters and don't worry about your misguided ideas about what might be a masculine drink to order, and order a glass of rosé. I think you will be pleasantly surprised with what you find. Thanks.